You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
With Talking Life, I'm Lara Snell. With New Year now just a distant memory, people's thoughts are turning to sunshine holidays and city breaks away. The importance of these breaks has been revealed today, as research from Avios shows that half of us say we'd be feeling depressed without a holiday to look forward to. And it seems we're willing to make sacrifices to get away, with date nights, meals out and visits to friends and family, just some of the things that people are willing to give up to save money. Psychologist Linda Papadopoulos explained why taking a break is so important to our well-being.
Taking time out from our busy schedules to just be, to not have something to do, to not have something to worry about is really important, helping us sort of calm down but also reconnect with those around us. And holidays don't have to be something particularly expensive or extravagant. It's more about taking the time to do something that feels right for you.
And consumer research expert Adrian Haddo from Avios explained some of the ways in which people can save for that holiday.
There's a number of things people can do in order to reduce the cost of their holiday. So if you look online, there's a number of different ways customers can be savvy. Perhaps join a travel rewards program where they can actually collect points towards the holiday based on what they're actually doing in their everyday lives anyway. So whether that's shopping at the supermarket, filling up their tanks of petrol, and actually go away on the back of that.
Vouchers and gift cards have featured prominently in the media lately, and not always for the best reasons, following the collapse of some of the high street's most familiar names. A form of currency which has always seemed so reliable to consumers appears to have lost its sheen for some, though according to One for All gift cards, this shouldn't necessarily be the case. They're aiming to remind shoppers that the traditional gift card has evolved, with some now offering consumers more choice, flexibility and confidence than ever before. Declan Byrne from One for All told us not all gift cards are the same.
People should be aware that any of the cards issued by stores generally are what we call unregulated products, and the money is not ring-fenced for them in the event of a collapse of the chain. However, there are other gift cards out there that have advantages over those single-use gift cards, and those are called multi-store gift cards, like the One for All gift card that's available in the post office.
And he explained the advantage of cards that aren't tied to one particular retailer.
These are gift cards that can be spent in a range of retailers, so therefore you don't find that if one retailer goes out of business that you can't use the card at all. You can use it in any of the other retailers. And also these products must be regulated under e-money regulations of the FSA or national regulators, whereby the money is ring-fenced, and in the event of an issuer going out of business, the money is there for the consumer to be refunded.
With Talking Life, I'm Lara Snell. With Talking Money, I'm Lara Snell. New research revealing the working landscape of the UK has been released this week and revealed that 1 in 8 of us now work from home every day. However, business experts are warning that many could be breaking the law by failing to have the correct paperwork and insurance if they have anyone else on their books, and it's feared that this could potentially risk their businesses. Jazz Gackle is the head of small business at Direct Line who conducted the research. She explained they may not realise they're not covered.
There's quite a large proportion of people who are running a company from home that could be risking their businesses because they may make the assumption that their home insurance provides them with the cover for their business equipment, material and stock because they're seeing it as content. But actually, if they were to speak to their home insurance provider, they may find that they haven't got the right cover in place.
And she told us a bit more about the benefits of having business interruption cover.
Say, for example, your property was impacted by a flood. Not only would having the right insurance in place ensure that you had cover for the stock and the equipment and the business materials, the business interruption cover would also ensure that you had an income coming in whilst you got your business back on its feet. There are additional things depending on how your business has been set up. If you've got just one employee, there is a mandatory requirement for employers' liability cover, so that's actually a legal requirement.
Millions of England's poorest households could be facing a rise in the council tax they pay, according to new research. This because most councils will pass on to residents the 10% funding cut being imposed by the government, leading to a rise in the tax. Poorer households may also suffer as changes to council tax benefit come into force. And leading medical bodies are calling for a tax to be imposed on fizzy drinks in the upcoming budget. They say it could raise £1 billion a year, which could be used to fund free fruit and meals in schools. However, opponents to the move say that it would just increase pressure on the pockets of those who can least afford it. With Talking Money, I'm Lara Snell. With Talking Health, I'm Lara Snell. 2/3 of GPs say they've seen a rise in the number of women seeking help for hair loss, with 70% saying they believe this is down to stress. The study by Norcrin also saw a rise of more than a fifth in the last year alone. Worryingly, nearly half of the women surveyed said they'd rather suffer in silence than ask for help. Harley Street GP Dr. Wendy Denning explained a bit more about how hair loss affects the women she sees.
The main thing's got to be confidence. I think that's what you see. Women just don't feel as confident, and that affects everything. It affects how their social life. In fact, 1 in 4 women will actually skip a social event because they don't feel confident enough to go to it.
And she says, as a doctor, she hopes that women will be confident enough to discuss the issue.
I think it's, behoves us as GPs to remember to ask about it, to help draw women out, particularly if we notice it, but even if we don't notice it, to try to probe the question so that women can talk about it more freely.
The World Cancer Research Fund says up to 13,000 premature deaths from the disease could be saved in the UK every year. They want the government to do more about educating people about preventative measures, as a new survey reveals 1/3 of Brits think developing cancer is down to fate. It kills over 150,000 people every year in the UK. And it's feared that new safety limits being imposed on the volume on all new personal music players from this month could be ignored. Research has shown that 40% of young people say they'd override the new limit on their device. Up to 70% of those questioned were unaware of the new rules coming into force. With Talking Health, I'm Lara Snell.